on YouTube?
It looks like we're actually not on the page yet because we're still 2 minutes. We still have 2 minutes left.
Oh, that's okay.
So this is good. So well, I don't know. Maybe we are, and I just don't see it because
Can
of
y'all hear
whatever
me?
reasons.
I can
Yeah,
hear you, Trey.
yeah, we can hear you just fine.
Great, great. I know I need to buy a new camera. 10 years old.
I think it's
It has
great
like no
because
resolution.
the camera qualities get progressively worse. So like Brad has the best one, and then I have a
Yeah,
and then Trey's is just like
like mine's modern, and Marco's is from at least the last decade, and yours is from like, what we all thought it would look like when we saw.
hello.
Unless it
Oh,
malfunctioned.
okay.
But yeah, I kept clicking submit, but it didn't say like your response has been submitted, so maybe it wasn't working.
Oh, okay. Well, we are live now on the front page of the Kickstarter as well, so
Hello.
we're all here.
My
Woo!
my camera seems to have messed up.
Oh,
No, that's just your face.
it looks fine to me. I can see you just fine.
Oh,
I think
okay.
everybody at home can see you just fine.
Then that's great. Problem is,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if YouTube feels the same way.
Well, they can just come to Kickstarter, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, why don't we do a quick round of introductions for all the folks at home that have never seen us before or heard us before?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Um, so I'll start off. My name's Brad Talton. You may have seen me in the Kickstarter video for this project. I run Level 99 Games and I'm the publisher for Argent, the consortium, which is on Kickstarter today, and today has over 3,000 backers.
Oh, that's
So,
awesome.
woohoo! Yeah,
I'm so
it's very
glad.
exciting.
Yeah.
It's like
I think I, th-
twice
I
as many
think that's our
backers we had
most.
the original.
I think that's our biggest project ever.
Ever.
Well, Pixel Tactics. Let me see. On Pixel Tactics Deluxe, but I think that might be. Um, let's see. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And the Millennium Blades. Yeah, beat out the Millennium Blades reprint already by 80 backers. This is our biggest, most backed project of all time.
What? That's
Yep.
amazing.
You
What about
underestimated
the
my
original
power.
Millennium Blades that raised the original Millennium Blades raised 250,000?
Yeah, but it only had 2,600 backers.
Oh, okay. So it's just more expensive product, so that's fine.
Well,
Quantity.
the thing is, I think the really crazy thing is that like 1,300 people back. Like if you look at the alumni tiers, like there's a ton of people coming back to this from the first Argent who are just excited to get the upgrade kit and the new expansion. So
Yeah,
um,
I'm kind of surprised that of the 5,000 copies of Argent out there in the world, only 1,300 upgraded, because I would have been all this upgrade had I been had I not been getting it from you guys. But
well, a lot of well, I mean, a lot of it's spreading the word, you know.
Mhm.
Like if you look at the original project had 1,300 backers. So pretty much, it looks like everybody who backed the original project has come back for the upgrade.
And
So
why wouldn't you?
it may just be something more about the way that people do or don't
Yeah.
back things on Kickstarter.
I feel like a lot of people that buy it at like comic book stores and maybe online retailers don't know about it. That's unfortunate. Are you going to be this should be a good Q&A question, but are you going to be selling the upgrade pack retail?
Probably not at retail, no. I think that it's going to be something that we might have a little bit of in our store, but we're going to print what we need, and that's about it.
Okay.
But I don't think did you do your introduction, Trey? Because I think
Yeah,
after my
you-
introduction,
No,
you just
no.
skip
Trey needs to
straight
do an
to
introduction.
asking questions.
Yeah. I mean, I have a lot of questions. Brad is a hard man to get a hold of. Called him last night. He was like totally missing MIA. But I'm the designer of Argent and current merman in the underwater city of Houston, Texas. So, hello, everyone.
Oh, I do hope you're okay.
Yeah. We're I mean,
I'm
we
glad
haven't
you're
lost
with
power.
us and not underwater.
Yeah. We haven't lost power at all yet. So except for like it flashed out on like Friday night when the hurricane made landfall. And we did get a lot of flooding last night. It came halfway up my lawn, so about 10 feet from my front door. But ever since that, it's receded, even though it's still raining here and there's still a lot of danger. But we seem to be okay.
Danger waters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Marco?
Yeah,
Your
okay.
introduction?
So just in case you guys didn't know, I am just a dude. I'm just here to be like a sounding board for these two way more qualified people who are also in the call. So I am their training dummy, their sounding dummy, and I kind of keep the flow going. Aside from that, I just do BattleCon, pixel tactics stuff. Okay, I'm a scrub.
Well,
at
when it
board
comes to, I think you're selling yourself short because when it comes to actually talking about board games, you've probably got more experience than any of us.
games. That
Hey.
is kind of true. Maybe.
Not for nothing, but when you finish those two huge, massive projects for Brad, maybe look into an online Argent app. I'm sure people would be interested in that.
We'll see.
That's a lot.
Man.
So Marco is my co-host for the podcast, the Level Cap podcast, and we talk once a week about board games. Trey, you also have a podcast.
Yeah. It's www.eternallyboard.com. It's just a board game podcast with me and some friends, and we have like rotating guest hosts, so we get a lot of different perspectives. And I guess the only thing that really sets us apart is that we tackle a lot of social issues that a lot of other gaming podcasts kind of tend to avoid. So we talk about race, we talk about gender, we talk about just all kinds of different issues. We don't shy away from any topics, let's put it that way, but it's not like we're not like shock jocks. It's very much a podcast that's like about bringing the community together and like let's find common ground, that kind of thing. So definitely check it out. It's eternallyboard.com, no space, and just make sure you spell board as in board games, not I'm so bored.
Well, here I can pin it to the chat for everyone.
Please do.
Oh yeah. Oh, thank you.
www.eternallyboard.com.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going
No
to check
space.
that link real quick before I post it, just to make sure.
Just to make sure
Okay.
that it doesn't lead to some
yeah.
weird accidental.
Well, that it
website.
doesn't break.
Oh, okay. not accidentally send us to a like horror terror Cthulhu like board game website that Trey actually works for. It's a cult. Little did we know.
No.
That's what it is. It's a cult.
Oh, it is a cult. See, I told you, Brad. You didn't believe me.
It's a board game cult. We get around.
Okay, never mind.
We only play Cthulhu themed board games. So when are you gonna release your Cthulhu board game, Brad? It's only a matter of time.
Why? What makes you think I haven't already released it?
Oh, okay. I don't know. Your catalog is getting so huge. Like I'm not even sure what you've released and what you haven't.
It's called
Ah.
BattleCon.
Well, so that's the real Cthulhu board game is you don't realize it, but it's already on your shelf. You turn around and there it is.
That's great. That's great. You're like, am I going crazy? I didn't buy this game.
I didn't
but
buy
it's
this
in my
game,
house.
but I have it. I can't get rid of it. That's the real Cthulhu board game. Real board game horror stories.
So yeah, this is the final countdown. Insert a short clip of the song. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun, dun. And
Oh no, yeah.
yeah.
I already have it queued up.
Oh, great, thank you.
Yeah, and we
have
need
the
you guys
copyright
to post some questions for us. We need you guys to post some questions for us so that we can ask Trey, so that we can deliver these hot bake questions directly into Trey's ear
Yeah, so that he
or
can,
something like that.
then-
Like Marco would say.
Yeah, and then he can then serve it back to you so that your eyeballs can feast upon them.
All right, this is going in a weird direction.
Yeah, it always goes weird when people start asking questions.
Yeah, it's always weird.
Especially when they're coming from Marco.
Hey, come on, that's mean. I got hurt a bit.
I'm sad my question didn't post because it was basically just Brad, boxers or briefs. Like that was,
I mean,
and I'm not even joking. That was the actual question I entered, and we would all like to know. So
all right, I guess we go in a circle. Is that something that's family friendly? Is talking
Oh
about
no, I'm not sharing. You don't realize I'm a high school teacher. I'm a public figure. I cannot share this information to the world. But Brad can. Go ahead, Brad.
But he's just inclined to ask these questions. No, let's keep it on topic and let's talk about Argent because that's what we're all here for.
Notice how he dodged the question. Clearly, he always goes without. That was the true answer.
It wasn't even really a dodge. It was kind of just you know, it's kind of like the question missed really. I've got a really bad cold right now.
You got a real bad cold, and it's wait a minute. I just clicked the link for the thing on the Kickstarter. Hello. Hello.
Choose how you're going to do them. So I think it's a very elegant system. But there are a lot of rules, so there's a lot of front-loaded information. So once you learn that front-loaded information, and it does take 15 to 30 minutes to teach, depending on how fast you teach games. But once you learn that information, I think it's a very clean, elegant system. So whether or not you would find it bloated depends on how well you process front-loaded information. If front-loaded information is just like, oh, you're fine, but the actual playing of the game is simple, then I think you'll find it's not bloated. But if you think just having a lot of rules up front is bloat, then yeah, because there's just a lot. It's a heavy game, so there's a lot. So that is my official response on whether or not it's bloated. I don't find it bloated. Other people might. Oh, you're fine.
Yeah, it depends on how long you want to play Argent.
I think
and if you want to play Argent for 30 minutes per player,
just having a lot of rules up front is bloat, then yeah. And I would even say once it's a heavy game, so there's a lot minutes per player. I think 30 minutes is like official response for newer players. I don't find it bloated. Other people, but yeah, people who play Argent a lot, they move pretty fast because they understand what the cards do, they understand what the rooms do, and that's a lot of the initial processing of playing. You have to read all the cards, you have to read all the rooms. Once you know what they do, you're just like, oh, you know, that's the observatory. I know what that does.
You can't hear you, Mark.
Really? You can't?
Oh, well, now I can. Now that you're talking, I can.
Yes!
You just weren't talking previously.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Oh,
okay.
All right. Oh.
But yeah, like you were saying, Trey, like it's definitely a game you got to play many times. Argent's made to be played many, many times, and even with the base game, you'll have to play many, many times to see everything in the game.
Yeah, that's true.
So
I think as a guy who recently only played Argent because of this Kickstarter, again, because I'm a scrub and I like Battlecon a bit too much. It took me like 2 hours to play one game. That's not bad for a giant-esque Euro game. Like, that's not bad. Like, you play... Like, a game of Catan for the first timer could take as long. So, I don't know... Like, I don't know how bloated it feels. I guess it feels, like, overwhelming to a new player sometimes, because you don't know what the heck you want. Because there's, like, 7 different resources, and there's, like, 20 different win conditions.
Well,
Emanuela had a follow-up. The main complaint I saw was relearning all the iconography. I mean, I have never gotten that complaint. I think Brad did a pretty good job with the iconography as far as, like, you see the iconography and it kind of makes sense in the scope of the game.
I mean, that's like a lot of reviewers play a game once or twice, and then they post a review, and you're just not going to get... You're not going to really get Argent until you play it a few times. And I think... That's what a lot of people do, is they play it once and they're like, man, this game is huge and it takes a while. Well, yeah, every game does when you are learning it. Maybe Argent a little more than others, but once you know what you're doing, it's just like, you know, any other game, and it's quite well made for what it is, I think.
The table space thing, like, I know if you've watched Tom Vassel's review of Argent, which it is a positive review, you can't tell until like you get to the end of the review where he says, yeah, I really did like this game. But because he brings up so many problems with it. or he thinks problems, but he talks about the table space that it takes up, but it doesn't take up any more table space than like Agricola or Caverna or any game like that. So if you have a table that can fit Agricola or Caverna on it, you can fit Argent easy. I played this on a small coffee table, not super small coffee table, but a normal size coffee table with like 4 players. It was super cramped, but we got it done. So it's not, I don't think it's an unreasonably sized table hog.
So any news on the new big box expansion?
Oh, I mean, I don't know, Brad, is there any news? I mean, like, we have literally like 30 different ideas, you know, you have to.
Yeah, it's really a matter of cutting things down.
Yeah. Like, you choose one and you tell me, work on this one idea, and I will work on it.
Yeah, we've talked about a few, but, you know, it's, I mean, mainly it's just we want to get Argent back out again for the moment.
Everyone in the chat, it's Brad's fault. It's Brad's fault.
But nobody says that. Everyone says it's Marco's fault instead. Don't you know that, Marco? That's the meme. You got the meme wrong.
All right.
See, look, just like that.
Oh, Henry had a question. The mini expansion equals the first mini expansion or this mini expansion? The first mini expansion was Summer Break, which was done in the first Kickstarter, and it was like the freebie for the first Kickstarter. This mini expansion is brand new, never been released before, so it is getting brand new content.
Yeah, and that's the one that everybody who backs the project is getting included with their pledge.
Yeah, and this expansion it's a small pack of cards, but I think it'll pack a big punch because it adds a 4th action option, something we've never done to Argent yet. And I think it's a really cool system that veterans will really get a lot of mileage out of, and newer players can probably throw it in without too much difficulty because it's not a complex expansion at all.
Yeah. Okay, somebody asked in the chat, so what are your favorite Argent strategies?
Well, we skipped a lot of questions.
Yeah. Let's do them in order so that we don't...
Let's start at the top. So how are we going to avoid shipping problems like we had with Trials? I mean, the biggest problems with Trials are production problems, and the fact that so not really so much with the shipping problems. So with this, of course, everything's already done, and we've actually already started pre-press work. So things should move along pretty quickly, and we've got all that stuff worked out. We've already contacted most of our shippers for this project, and we've got them kind of expecting what they're going to be shipping out. So so we're really ahead of the game on Argent, and I don't think we'll have any problems delivering it on schedule this time around. But yeah.
Mega Man of Numbers wants to know your Kickstarter order.
So Argent, Temporal Odyssey is our next one. Imperial Spells and Steam happened at the end of the year. 7th Cross, I decided I don't think it's going to be ready this year. Just got a lot more work to do.
Brad.
So sorry, Marco.
Every time you just it's the biggest tease catfish thing. Oh my gosh. Okay, fine.
I'm not gonna do it until it's ready. You know, I'm not gonna post it up. And I really like doing this project because it was like it's done, and I just, as soon as the project ends, you know, we just move on to fulfillment, and you know, and it's great. I really want 7th Cross to also be like that. I don't want to have a million things to do afterwards, like we did with you know, like with other projects in the past.
Fair.
You know, we said like, oh, it's just about ready, and then we had a ton of art to do. So so like for Exceed Season 2, right? Like it's still on track for being way behind because we thought we were going to have it in August, but in fact the art is still being finished. But it's moving along at, you know, the same rate of progress that we had. It's just that you know, I want to have all the art and everything ready for upcoming games before it you know, before it's ready.
Okay.
I've actually had the pleasure of playing 7th Cross. It is a super cool game, and I think it was super unique, the build that I played of it, but Brad wasn't 100% happy with it. You know, I think it could have been released as is and still would have been a great game, but you know,
you're flattering me. I'm not. It's not going to be ready, and it's going to be a little bit different than what you played, a little bit.
But I
Underselling himself
think it's a good thing that he's a perfectionist because make the product better in the end.
Well.
We had a question. Favorite Argent strategies. So for me, it's kind of like it's a mood thing. Like sometimes I'm feeling frisky and I want to go like let's pick a red candidate and red mages and like let's get in there and do some damage. And then sometimes I'm like, oh, let's be more calculated. Sometimes I like more utility stuff like purple and gray mages and kind of like messing with tempo, that kind of thing. So I don't know if I have a favorite. My favorite originally was when playing with new players, I would not mark any voters and try to win them randomly. And then well, not randomly. You kind of guess what voters are in the game by like what people are targeting, right? So it was like deduction, but I tried to not go for marks, right? And one time a new player beat me using that when I was using that strategy. He went on to Board Game Geek and gave Argent a 1 and said, "Oh, I beat the designer, so the game must be totally random." And I was like, "Okay, you beat me because I was playing."
Make it easy, yeah.
It doesn't usually work because I didn't look at any of the voters in a game where you need to win voters. So
everyone knows that designers throw demo games. I mean, I mean,
that was the last demo game I've thrown, and I win them all now, but I don't have people going on Board Game Geek and rating Argent a 1 when I beat them.
You know, the things people rate a 1 for are astonishing to me.
Definitely.
Do you have any 1s on Board Game Geek, Marco?
No, I have all 5s because I only rate your board games.
Oh. You rate my board games? I never rate my own board games.
Well,
I did that once when I started, and then I realized, like, oh, nobody likes it when you do this.
Well, yeah, I mean...
Honestly, I've kind of started, not rating other people's board games, too, because then I meet them at conventions, and I'm like, I wonder if he knows what I rated his game, Like, that's, I don't want to be in that situation.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I've only given, like, one designer game a 1.
Strategies in Argent?
Yeah.
I really like the more economic type strategies. So I like to play characters like Byron that get a lot of resources really easily, and I like to play the mages that can generate a lot of resources. So if I'm playing like B-sides, I'll always go for sorcery and divinity because they can generate a lot of extra resources on those sides. If I'm going on the A side, I usually go for green and red because they're the best at securing resources from opponents. And then I like to go, just try and get as much board presence as I can every round.
Well, so is anybody gonna ask me?
How about you, Marco?
Oh, thank you.
I just did. How about you, Marco?
Oh, great. That's
you got a few seconds delay. I can tell over there.
Yeah. Okay, fine. I like Purple Rush. You summon all of the stuff, then you take all the bell towers. Here's the thing. So when we played that on stream, I lost so bad to everyone. Like I was like last place or something. But here's the deal. For somebody who's bad at Argent, like me, the goal doesn't become winning. The goal is to make everybody else on the table feel bad, right? So Purple Rush.
we all felt like we were losing.
Yeah, exactly. Purple Rush makes everybody feel like they're losing, even if they're not. So if your end goal is to make everybody feel bad, kind of like you do in Monopoly by buying all the boardwalks or whatever, Purple Rush is for you.
Yeah.
And Purple Rush can be really strong, but you gotta tempo it, because like if you start too early. If you do your rush, because you get like a rush turn, and you can just like throw everything. And if you rush too early, the other players have time to counter your rush. And so you kind of have to make this surgical strike where you're like, you get just to that moment when it would really hurt everybody else if the round ended, and then you go bam, 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 round's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
a lot of
maximum damage.
A lot of people who start playing Argent feel like purple mages are overpowered. And I think that's coming from them playing other worker placement games. It's like, oh wow, I have a mage that doesn't even count as my normal placement, so I'm getting my mages out twice as fast. And they're like, whoa, this is, but there's trade-offs. Your mages, if they're just purple mages, they're more vulnerable, right? If you're getting out there fast and you hope to claim those best positions, well, good luck. If you have anybody being any kind of aggressive, then you're going to be in a lot of trouble. So it's not as simple as it might seem at first blush. I think there's a lot of layers in Argent, which I think is why it has good replayability. One of the many reasons it has good replayability. It has a lot of variety.
So yeah, Marco, just talk over us and cut in because we can't leave an opening for you on your delay.
Yeah,
you just gotta jump in.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm streaming this on this, and then I'm streaming it on YouTube. I have like 17 like streams going on at the same time. Of course, I'm a bit delayed. So
yeah,
somebody's asking.
Also, it's a little early for you, isn't it? What time is it over there?
It's 7 a.m. But I woke up at 5 because
Okay.
I don't know.
Sorry.
Wow.
Sorry.
No,
Thank you for
Marco,
joining us.
Such a trooper.
Yeah.
Hey,
man.
are you gonna tell us if YouTube stream gets any questions? Are you gonna let us know?
Yep.
Or-
Only if the questions are related, though.
Yeah.
Somebody asked something about disc duelers. I'm like, this is not the stream for this. All right.
No, there's no stream for disc duelers
Oh,
anymore.
Cries. How about
Yeah,
this
it's
one?
not. It's officially out of print, right?
Yeah.
But it's officially out of stock. What did you ask, Marco?
Yeah, no. I'm just telling the chat to stay on topic. Like, people are asking adjacent stuff. Like,
Oh yeah.
they're like, how is this BattleCon whatever? How about Exceed? I'm like, the Argent stream. It is in the title. You are on the Kickstarter for Argent.
We could tell you a little bit about Imperial spells and Steam, but maybe we save that for like the minutes after the project ends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is on topic because I am the designer of Imperial as well, and let's talk about it. So yeah, we'll talk about it after the Argent Kickstarter officially ends in 28 minutes. We can't talk about it too long because I'm gonna watch Game of Thrones. at some
Come on.
point.
And besides, Trey.
Oh yeah.
Trey, Brad has described Imperial to be the train game of Argent the Consortium. Is this true? Answer that later. We'll take the answer off air.
Okay. All right.
All right.
I will ask that after the end. Okay. How is Zal Ezra pronounced? So
Done.
I say Zal Ezra, and but I don't know. But I'm not in charge of Indian's lore. However, that is one of the few names from the original Consortium prototype that Brad decided to use. So, me, the creator of the name, says Zal Ezra, but officially it might be pronounced differently.
You got it right. Zal Ezra is what I say too.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know why he didn't use more of my names because they were all cool. But I think two of the best names in Argent are from me, which is Zal Ezra, and then there's another one. It's like Silver something. She's a supporter, I believe.
Salem
and
Silver
Yes,
Yeah.
Salem Silver.
is the
Yeah.
the
Okay.
exorcism professor.
Come on, Trey. You're like, oh man, I
I'm
really
very
love
proud.
this
Very
second
proud.
name that I forgot. It's such a good name, but I don't remember.
Hey, Argent has a lot of characters. Okay,
That's
Like,
true.
way more than most games,
Man, my favorite Argent
Yeah.
character
and
is
they're all like
Kai.
name characters. Too. Like, they're like Argent is so cool because it's a game. It has like I don't know 100 or more characters, and they all have names and lore behind them, and like and the lore like matches their department and everything. So it's just it has a lot of layers. Even thematically, it has a lot of layers. It's really cool.
All right, that's fair. Oh, somebody asked, why is there no art book for international backers? Crying face.
Yeah, so the art books that we have are from the first Kickstarter, and they're all warehoused in America. So we would have to ship them separately.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, how about this one? Let's
So
power through
they're
these
they're not
questions.
printed.
Let's power
Oh,
through
okay,
these
okay.
questions.
Go ahead, carry on.
What's your favorite class of Mage and Argent? I guess you get to pick the side too.
Divinity B.
Divinity B. That's the one that gets
Divinity B.
that lets you take the honor spots by paying another resource. right?
Yeah, they can use money to activate honor slots
Cash money.
or merit slots.
It also, for games that don't have the student stores, it gives you another use for money, which is helpful because, like, if you're playing a game and you don't have the student stores in, like, finding uses for money can sometimes be kind of difficult. But if you play Divinity B, you will always have a use for money as long as you have some of those blue mages. So that's really
true.
cool. I like Mysticism A. So you take a regular spell action and you can also play some mage, just because there's a lot of spells that like do cool things, but then you kind of have to wait till it comes back to your turn to take advantage of it, and the board state can change. Whereas like Mysticism A, I like blow up a room, and then instead of just waiting for me to get into it later, I can immediately place a mage in there.
There are a lot of spells, like the continuous spells that last for one round, that really only make sense to cast if you can also get a mage in afterwards, too.
Yeah, and those two, yeah. So to me, I think, like, everybody's like, oh, the purples are so awesome, but I actually think that the gray A mages are even better than the purple. They're just a little bit more situational, because you can always throw out that purple A, but throwing out of Mysticism A, you kind of have to time it with the use of your spells. So a little more advanced, but I think more useful in the long run.
Makes you feel more.
How about
smart.
in your experience, Marco?
I think I like green B.
More smart.
Green B is really fun.
The ones that shove?
Yeah, it's great, because not only is it a move that you can do to steal a spot that you want, you can literally, it is the mage that you play to make everybody else feel bad. Again, this is going with the theme of Marco likes making people feel bad while playing games. Because you can shove them into the honor spot, right? So they'll end up having to pay for this spot that they either didn't want or can't afford, right? It's one of my favorite strategies.
And they don't get any compensation. Yeah,
Well,
like when you kill them with a red mage, they don't get anything back for that.
Yeah. They don't.
Like,
they don't
or when you
get
kill
the
them with someone with a red mage, they do get something.
Yeah, they get the infirmary bonus, right? But when you shove them in there with the...
and also you can't heal them.
Yeah, so when you shove them in there with green B, it just like... It is literally the ultimate jerk move. I love it.
They can at least get an influence for not being able to afford the spot. The true meanest thing to do in Argent is to banish someone's mages, especially when they're behind on tempo.
Yeah, send it back to their office, and then...
That's why you'll notice there aren't a ton of banish things in the game, and that's purposeful. Like, we wanted wounding to be the major way to mess with people, because at least they get some compensation. Because if you just banish people, like, it could be really bad for them.
Okay, Anthony Tran asks, do you think we'll see all the deans in BattleCon one day?
Oh, I think everyone's gonna have a character in BattleCon one day.
Oh my gosh, there's like 100.
Yeah, I don't think that we're gonna see everybody in BattleCon.
Yeah, I have a slight feeling that not all the deans are super combat ready.
Which deans don't have BattleCon characters?
Let's see. Berman is in. Jessica is not. Or not Jessica. Ricky is not. Riflem is in BattleCon Online. Selphika is not in any of them.
Lucas.
Exifern or Mannheim are not in any of them. Byron is. Jessica's not. Zal Ezra is. Lavanina's not. And what's the department I'm forgetting? Ray has a character, but it's not published yet. It's in the future leagues, and then Monad is not. So, and then Trias is. Gian is in BattleCon Online.
So it sounds about half of them already have characters.
Yeah, so about one or two, one from each department is in one place or another. I don't know that the others will, just because we're trying to slow down a bit on the BattleCon characters, not overdo it.
Oh, you know, we turn into League of Legends. Peter.
Yeah, we're getting pretty close to those league numbers.
Peter asks, will you have box inserts and or big collector boxes for your games? Argent specifically, BattleCon Imperial, etc. So let's talk about Argent for this one. Is Argent's insert going to be great?
I mean, the first insert was pretty great, and it held both games in a good way. We're going to try and do our best again to capture that, to make the insert fit all the different parts. We may organize or update the insert a little bit, but there won't be any major changes. The best storage solution is the official Go 7 insert, which has like a nice wooden box for everything. But the base box holds all the expansions material and all the base game material pretty well. I've never felt a need to I've never had to like offset my box lid or anything to put everything in the base box.
Yeah, I tossed that insert until Go 7 was nice enough to gift me an insert, which is awesome. I highly recommend the Go 7 insert. But before that, yeah, I tossed my insert because yeah, you can fit it all in, even with the insert. But I don't like playing Tetris. You know, I'm the kind of person I just like sweep all my games like off into the empty boxes. So I throw away like 95% of the inserts I get.
Yeah. Another thing too is that with the well, the insert's nice because it adds a little integrity to the box. You know, if you bash the edge, you're not gonna dent in a corner if the insert's there. But anyway, the with the base changes with the base rings that we now have, we're cutting out one component, the old bases, and the old bases and the loyalty badges are being combined into that new base ring. So there will be even fewer. There'll be one less component to fit into the game.
That's great. So new question.
Yeah, so things will fit even better, probably.
Mega Man of Numbers asks, who's your favorite candidate to play as, for any reason?
Why don't you go first, Marco? You went last time. Of the two you've played.
Of the two I've played. No, I've looked at some, but I guess I like playing Zal Ezra. Again, it makes people feel bad. So therefore I take it. I'm a blue magic player, okay? So that informs a lot of what I like about in games. Let's go on to Trey.
So my favorite has always been Zal Ezra, not for gameplay reasons, just because I'm a teacher and he they're all pretty much teachers, but he just looks like a teacher. He's got his coffee and lab coat and everything. So I feel like a kinship with him. And also Brad kept my original name. Again, there's only like 2 characters who did that for. So, I feel a special kinship with Zal Ezra for that reason.
Oh, well, I like Ricky, the alternate sorcery mage, the one who can like blow up her own students to get mana, because I think it's just a really wild ability. It's difficult to use, and so it makes me want to try and figure out a way to maximize it.
Yeah.
And I like the characters like that like her and Jessica. That both provide a kind of double-edged ability, and you really have to think hard about how you're going to leverage it. So it adds a little challenge to the game. And since, as publisher, I often have to play with players who are not as
And it said, "Stay tuned." So are we not live yet?
I saw.
Yeah, I'll check as well.
Oh, there we are.
Yeah, okay,
never
but
mind.
it's not super obvious. Just like
Oh no, the word who haven't played as much as me. Having a kind of a challenge to play around is useful, or is nice in that sense.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention my favorite gameplay character. That would be Monad, the B-side blue divinity guy.
Yeah.
Right, the guy who like gives you influence for wounding someone else. Like, that's so cool. Like, I can hurt someone and get influence for it. So that's my favorite
This
gameplay.
teacher can
line.
beat up students and get voted into deanship because of it. Excellent.
Yeah, really. Referee asks, is there more Argent University games? I know you did a Pixel Tactics expansion.
Yeah, there was a little Pixel Tactics mini expansion for Argent. Argent shows up in BattleCon's storyline. Like a lot of the characters that you see in the game will show up in BattleCon as well. And probably we'll see a couple of these characters again in Imperial when that happens.
Yeah.
In Spells and Steam.
Does Argent have its own railroad system?
Well, it is a city state, so like,
Right.
yeah, they do.
Okay, excellent.
But most of all, like we'll probably see the characters show up in some kind of what's the word, like RPG video game or tabletop at some point. More likely, like it shows up a lot in our planned visual novel game, which is like the story mode to all this. Anyway, all that to say, someday RPGs.
Please,
Yeah,
please.
he's also still on the. I have a student-based Argent game that he's still on the fence about publishing. Maybe one day he'll make a decision, but it's very similar to Argent. It's like half the length and half the complexity. So I think Brad is worried that it might overlap too much with Argent, and and that's a valid concern. I've talked to people, and they would like a more a shorter, simpler Argent style game to introduce to maybe some of their less heavy gamer friends. So that's kind of why I designed it, and maybe we'll see it from Level 99 one day. Who knows?
Maybe someday. I think we might change the theme and make it not Argent. That might be the. I don't know. I have to think.
Argent is such a great theme.
Argent is pretty great, and
Yeah.
I feel like why if any good ideas we have, we should put in Argent. But that's our creative difference on this, and that's something to talk about for the future, especially if we do another big box expansion.
We'll take the answer off air.
Yeah.
Mega Man of Numbers asks, what was your favorite inspiration for making the festival? What was your inspiration for making the Festival of Masks expansion? This is a trick question.
Oh man. Okay, yeah. So let's say it definitely originated when one of our original ideas for a follow-up to Summer Break, Brad was like, "Hey, we should make it holiday themed." And so I designed a bunch of mini expansions around that. I designed there was a Christmas type expansion, and there was a Halloween type expansion, and there was a I forget the holidays I selected. Oh, like a summer festival type expansion. And then there was one for spring, like a spring growth, Easter style kind of expansion. So basically the Halloween one kind of morphed into the Festival of Masks, because I'm thinking, hey, we're at a ball and it's, maybe Halloween time and we're wearing costumes, and the costumes became masks. And then, so eventually it just became like an idea for a masquerade. And then for mechanic wise, I was like, how can we change Argent in a way that's simple and easy to integrate into what we already have, but also makes a profound impact where it really expands the gameplay for, veterans, but new players could use it as well, because again, it's not very complicated. And so that's when I got the idea for like a fourth action that, is very simple. Like you take a mask and you get its abilities, and it's just a fourth option for you to do on your turn. So very simple, but it really kind of changes the dynamic, because it's a new layer to the game of chicken, which was already heavy in Argent. Is if you take a mask, you're slowing your tempo down by yet another turn. But the masks offer really cool abilities or bonuses, so you probably do want to take one at some point during your turn. It's just a question of what's going to happen. Is that going to slow your tempo down too much? It's a really cool expansion.
So how much of it is inspired by Persona 5? I'm watching you, Trey.
Wait, say it again.
How much of it is inspired
How much
by
of
Persona
what?
5? How much of it is inspired by Persona 5?
I don't think Trey is a video gamer. I don't think he's played Persona 5.
Yeah, for video games, I'm 100% PC gamer, and I've never even heard of Persona 5.
Blasphemy.
Well, that's a little hard to believe, but
Blasphemy.
yeah, me and Mark are big fans of this game. But anyway, the characters in the game wear masks.
Yeah.
And so there's
the
kind
masks
of
have
this
abilities.
mask zeitgeist among video gamers these days.
Yeah. Okay, so
That's
we don't
not-
have questions, so let's pad time by asking Brad. Brad, what is your shirt? Is that a hipster Care Bear?
Yeah, it's an I don't care bear.
Oh! Oh, it hurts. It hurts.
Oh,
Okay. Somebody.
I had a question.
Yeah, okay. Somebody asked a question though. Here, I think I can show it, but
How do you remove the stream from the page? I don't know if you can remove the stream from the page. You can mute it though.
You're
There's a
stuck with
mute
it.
button. Yeah.
okay.
In the bottom, at the bottom of the window, right under Marco's.
I'm
right
not
by
stuck
Marco's
in here with
necklace.
you. You're stuck in here with me.
Yeah.
That kind.
How about this one? Stefan Perov
Yeah.
asked,
Sorry about that.
I never tried a worker placement game before, but I'm interested in trying one. Can you explain a bit more of this element in this game, and how Argent takes that step further compared to other worker placement games?
Oh yeah. So worker placement is basically, to get really technical, which is not what the question's asking, but it's action drafting. In other words, you're selecting something that other people can't select, right? You're selecting a bonus or a spot or something on the board, the game state that other players won't have access to.
Mm-hmm.
So the pawns in worker placement games are basically your means to do that. Where Argent kind of steps it up is that, for one, unlike most worker placement games, you don't get what you're not necessarily going to get what you select, right? Because the game state can change. You can jockey for position with other players. You can move them out of the way. You can shadow and copy their action. You can teleport, do all kinds of crazy stuff. So in that way, it's very different from other worker placement games. In another way, your pawns aren't just, hey, this is my action, right? That's what it is in most worker placement games. Like, this is my pawn, so this is my action. Your pawns also have abilities, so they will hurt other players' pawns and get them out of the way for you. They are defensive and can't be hurt. They can be used at the same time. You use a card. They can be placed as a fast action, and then you place a regular, or you take a regular action. So they're just, I use that game space to kind of add special abilities to the pawn so that they're not just generic tied to the player color.
That's true.
So those, I would say those are the two main differences.
Well, yeah. It's also a very head-to-head kind of game. Brad keeps calling it cutthroat, and it is. There's a lot of player-to-player interaction compared to most worker placement games that I've played before. And, you know, you spend a lot of time, you know, like the mere fact that I can say that I spend a lot of this game making other people feel bad or grieving on them means that there's a lot of player-to-player interaction. And I think that's what makes this game way better than most of the worker placement games out there.
Hey Troy, did you see the Q&A section is working now? Did you? Did you?
Oh no,
I
didn't know.
Like this. Yeah, we got some questions. Well, we got 2 questions now in the Q&A section.
Oh sure.
I answered one of them.
Okay. Yeah. Now I'm seeing one of
we
them,
answered
and
one.
we already answered that one.
Check this one out. I never tried to worker place. Did you answer that one already?
Yeah, we just asked
About what worker placement is. Oh, okay. I felt like this was a big, very long explanation of Argent, but not of worker placement in general.
No, that was the first thing I talked about.
Then I guess we answered all the questions. Ignore me. Carry on.
Oh, so let's talk about cutthroat, because I know some people are scared of Argent because they think it's maybe too cutthroat. So I actually made a thread about this. Well, I didn't make a thread. I responded to a thread about this on Working Game, and you can go read it. It's an interesting discussion. And there are definitely some people that will translate it in their minds as like a very cutthroat game. And I would say it's cutthroat in that we're all like fighting for the same resources. We're fighting for only those 12 voters. And so it feels like a very cutthroat game because you win just by owning a few of those voters. Whereas in a normal game, you're jockeying for position and victory points, and that can be a huge amount. There's only 12 victory points, quote unquote, to divide up between us, which are the voters. So yes, it's cutthroat because we're all competing for the same thing. However, as far as like, I don't feel like Argent is a take that game, because
it's not like one wins and one loses kind of thing. Yeah. It's really sort of, I don't know what to say, but it's more kind of free for all, and that like every time you get kicked out of the circle, you get something for it, and every time you jump back in, it costs you something. So there's kind of an ebb and flow to it. Then it is PvP, but it's not it's not direct conflict like a battle game would be.
It's not a battle
the way I argued it was that we're jockeying for position for the same resources, which is generally what you're doing in every game.
Yeah, that's
right.
True.
So there's not a lot of like that, like I'm gonna dump on your plan just to dump on it, and it doesn't help me. There's not a lot of that. It's more like
there's not time to go sabotage somebody else.
Yeah, exactly. There's not enough time because tempo is a thing. The round could end as soon as people start pulling those bell tower cards. So you don't really have time to mess with another player just to mess with them. Yeah. You need to follow your own goals, win the game. So you're focused on that, and if other people get in your way, sure, you'll elbow them out of the way, but you're not just doing that just to grief them. It's like they're going to feel some pain, but they will probably get some kind of action. It just might not be the action they want to take.
If my Argent history
we are down to 5 minutes now.
If my Argent history is anything to prove this, is that I love griefing and I've never won a game of Argent. That just explains all of it. If you want to grief in this game, be prepared to just lose. But yeah. More questions, please. I would love to hear some more questions from all of you.
Yeah.
I guess, if nothing
yes,
comes up.
The bases. Someone asked, do you have a ring base to demonstrate yet? But I don't think we have those.
No, I do not have any of them yet. They had to, because the Argent miniatures are not like a standard size. They're a bit smaller than other, like the bases are smaller. They had to make a custom ring base for us, and that's being molded now. But I'm going to get one once they come in. I'm going to get a full set of the miniatures to test out, and when that happens, I will bring them on stream, and I'll do another stream, and I'll show you guys what they all look like. You know,
that reminds me. I had a question for Brad, so we're going to get him on the record here in front of everybody. Do you know? Are we going to see a sample of the new colors before they go into mass production, just to make sure they stand out?
I do not think that we do, because of the way that like factories source things. However, the guarantee of Pantone colors is that the Pantone color is what it is So when you pick a Pantone, it's a universal color swatch that's used by everybody around the world. So it's kind of like the metric system of colors. And so we picked Pantone colors. We expect to get those exact Pantone colors out.
Gotcha. Okay.
I see.
So to let the viewers know, I too am colorblind. So there's been a lot of questions about, well, now there's not going to be the badges which have the helpful symbols on them, which helps colorblind people like myself differentiate between the ownership of the mages. Since it's just going to be pure colors now, we really need to make sure those colors are differentiated such that for colorblind people doesn't hurt us, right?
Yeah.
So
and we had a colorblind panel read over, like, check all these colors, like 7 different people look at all these colors and say, like, okay, these are too close or these are too far. So they not only have different colors, they all have different chromas as well, and they're all very easy to tell apart.
Excellent. Did you use the Pantone colors I sent you, or did you have to change them based on the Pantone?
We used what you sent, and we ran it by a bunch of other people, and they gave us I think a few people suggested we change the coloring of the Archmage and the neutral mages, and so we did that in this one. But that's the only major change from what you saw, I believe.
Excellent.
Great.
Good to know.
Yep.
All right. So for my fellow colorblind people, we should be set. Even though I was very worried, because there is red and green, which is the common mix-up for us.
Oh, Brad, how many more minutes are left, or rather seconds?
I don't know. I think I have a splinter. 2 minutes are left.
Oh no, Brad has a splinter.
2 minutes. All right.
Yep.
Last chances to get Argent questions in before
we no longer answer any questions about Argent.
Yeah.
Once the Kickstarter ends, no more questions. Trey,
no more updates. No more.
Trey will drop the mic and disappear into the storm.
Yeah.
Yeah, as if I'm getting any of this money.
Oh, there you go. There's this one question that's not Argent related, but I guess it is something important to ask. Let's end the stream with this question. What encouraged you to get into game design? And I think Trey already wrote an entire update about this.
Yeah, if you want to go and read but just to get back, because the question is more about like to the origin of it. So at a very young age, I was a video gamer. I'm talking about like when I was like 3 years old, my dad had a television. Those of you who are super old like me may have heard of this console. It's like about the Atari like era, right? So my dad had an Intellivision, so I used to play Intellivision as a very, very young child, like barely out of diapers, and I loved video games. And so when I got into elementary school, I started designing like pen and paper or pencil and paper games on just like pieces of paper. They were glorified mazes is really what they were. So there would be like a Mario level. Think of like a 2D Mario level, and they would use the pencil and trace where they wanted to go, and depending on where they went on the maze, they had different kind of encounters. So that was like my initial game design, was just like inventing these mages for my friends at elementary school. You know, like we're in 5th grade or 4th grade kind of thing, and then I just kind of set it aside and didn't do anything with it until well, you can read the designer diary for the full story on that. But basically, I'm not a programmer, and I never had any desire to learn how to program. So as much as I love video games, I had no interest in getting into video game design for that reason, because I was like, you generally have to have some idea of programming to design video games. Like, you don't have to be the lead programmer, but you have to know like how video games work and things like that. And that does not interest me. I just want to design game systems and mechanics, and that's it. Yeah. So I think board games is a better fit for me. So yeah, and then
maybe we should talk about doing a video game at some point if you got any good ideas.
Yeah, no, I mean, I have tons of ideas for video games, like for days.
Don't tell them on stream. They're people
so yeah.
Have your people call my people.
DM,
yeah, original game, do not steal.
Original game, do not steal.
Wait. Oh wait, I think.
Countdown?
Oh, it ended. Oh my gosh, I missed the countdown.
Well,
all right, let's count down anyway. Because
I was just blabbing
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now you see exactly how offset Marco really is.
Yeah, Marco on the delay.
Woo!
Oh, sorry about that, guys. I took over the stream.
Oh, wait.
Wrong time.
We have to kiss someone.
But what?
Happy New Year, Savior said. So I kissed.
Is that a Happy New Year thing?
Yeah, isn't that a thing?
That must be a Philippines
thing.
thing.
During New Year's, you kiss.
No.
Oh.
You don't have to kiss somebody at New Year's.
I don't know. That.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Ah!
Oh look, Brad got a kiss. That's
my dog's excited. Your wife's excited. It's wonderful.
Everyone's excited. Woo!
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
I'm
man.
sorry, my dogs are killing me. Dogs, please. I'm streaming.
So,
hello.
A little bit of Imperial talk before we shut it down. So we're kind of in the final stages of development on Imperial. We revised it, I don't know how many times, like 20 times by now. So the last thing I'm checking right now is exactly how we
just mute your microphone.
Yeah, I'm gonna mute the mic. Yeah, I'm gonna mute the mic.
And he dropped out of the entire stream.
Oh, he dropped out of the entire stream. But yeah, Imperial. I guess we could talk.
Hello?
The relationship to Argent is not really super related to Argent, because Argent's a worker placement game and has like most of those tropes in addition to the twist that it puts on it. This is more like we're taking the train game tropes and we're putting level 99 twist on those. So
the way I see it is like if you played Argent and you were like, what I really wish is that this was a train game, then you kind of get that from Imperial. Clearly, it's clearly there's a little more than that to it, but that's the basics. As for so we made a game a while ago called Mystic Empyrean, which is what Referee's talking about here. This was a role-playing game, not related, but yeah, I don't see too much of a conflict with it. I think if anything, there's probably more confusion with Imperial, which is like IMPERIL, that Imperial, which is gosh, what is Imperial? Is it a rail game?
No, it's not a rail game. There are stocks. It's like a game where you take control of companies, and which are basically like corporations that control the world, and then you use the corporations to affect different nations. So like,
Okay, so that's totally different.
yeah. It's
Okay.
nothing like a train game.
All right.
Other than there's stocks, but we removed the stocks in the more recent builds of Imperial, so that's not even a conflict at all.
Yeah. The new system, which we put back in kind of it's not really a pick up and deliver. I guess it is pick up and deliver because you pick up things and then you deliver them. But
In
I
that
don't
way,
know if I
yes,
describe it that way. It's not your pick up and
No,
deliver.
I agree. It's more network building than pick up and deliver because
Welcome
you build your network to resources and then you harvest those resources and ship them to a city with demand. So yeah, I mean it pretty much is pick up and deliver, but I would say the network building is more important because you don't even get to the resources unless you build your network out to them, which I guess also is something you do in like a Age of Steam type game, but it's very different from like Age of Steam because again, there's no stocks, there's no like selecting a role for turn order or anything like that. It's kind of its own thing. There aren't rounds at all. Basically, you start the game and like on your turn you take one action. That's it, right? And it just goes clockwise until the game ends.
It's kind of got a Manhattan Project sort of engine to it, where you have these sort of, I guess I'd say like workers maybe, but you allocate them to the different actions you're taking, and it takes several of these guys to complete any given action that you do. And then you rest and you bring them all home, and then they can, and then in order to build, and so that's how your engine is about maximizing the efficiency of these, of your crew, of your train crew.
Yeah. So, but again, what's really cool about it is I just like the different abilities you can draft over the course of the game. So I think every game's gonna be very different. So in that way, it's like Argent because it's high replayability, like all level 99 games are, which is one of the reasons why I think Brad has a really good company because his games are never the same way every time. Like there's so many games I play like 2 or 3 times and then sell them, but you'll never have that from a level 99 game because he always builds in a lot of replayability.
Yep, that's your guarantee.
Marco, is that like an assault weapon behind you?
It's an airsoft gun. It's not real.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm like, is it that bad in the Philippines? I don't know.
Yeah, there is. It is according to the news.
Oh my gosh. Let's not get too political here. But yeah,
yeah, no, I don't,
okay.
It's a hobby.
I don't want him to get in trouble.
Yeah, it's a hobby thing. My dad's into
Okay.
it. It's a hobby thing. Yeah, poppers. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. My dogs. I have like 4 dogs in the house. So, yeah.
That is too many dogs.
Yeah, and then 2 of them are like giant. My dogs remember their special action.
I have a pet. I have a small cactus.
You have a small cat?
Any other questions about Imperial or
cactus?
We're here. We're a captive audience.
Yeah. You're stuck in here with us. We are the boys. The boys are back. The Tres Amigos, the 3 Musketeers, the Trey Musketeers. Oh,
The Tres Amigos.
yes.
Oh, Brad, did you see the logo Fabio made?
Yeah. The
Trains.
trains. Yeah,
Somebody post that. Somebody post that.
You need to just put it on one of the
I can
Imperial.
post a Dropbox link to that. Let me find it.
The best.
Put
one.
put it on one of the Imperial updates when we start the Kickstarter for
Yeah,
Imperial.
I'll just do it when we actually start that. But anyway, Argent.
Stay on Argent, boys.
We don't.
Yeah, we are. It is still Argent.
We don't care. We already have their money. We can't get more of it.
Well, we can. Late backers,
You're awful,
pledge
Trey.
managers.
And you don't have any money yet, so you still better care.
That's true. I do not have any of this money.
Oh, Cthulhu Dreams asks, do you have a view on what the best first-time configuration for a game is in terms of the rooms you put into the university?
Yeah, it's in the rule book. It has the starting setup.
Yeah, we have a diagram for 2, 3, 4, and 5 players. What we suggest as the initial university setup.
Yeah.
It's great.
So yeah, it's they basically kind of focus on like making sure all the resources are available, because when you start playing randomly, which is obviously going to be more advanced, you're going to have some weird games where like this one resource, there'll always be at least one way to get a resource. We made sure to build that into the white bordered rooms, the ones that'll be in every game, but it might be only that one room if you build your university randomly. So it could be like, you know, high demand for marks or for mana or for money or whatever, if you build a random university. So
then everybody will kill each other.
Like the random ones, yeah, they really force you to adapt, because like in some games gold can be like everything requires gold, and in some games like it's really useless, and in some games, you know, you have marks everywhere, and in some games you have to work really hard to get a mark. And so adapting, like figuring the valuation of the different resources changes every game.
Which is a good thing,
yeah, for sure.
because that means it's not a solved
Oh
game.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's one thing I dislike about
that is
worker
one thing.
placements. Yeah.
Yeah, if the board's the same, then you end up with the same game almost every time.
And it gets solved, and it gets boring, you know, because, you know, sheep are like this,
No.
brick is like that. Not stabbing at a certain game.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, modular board was definitely the way to go with Argent, which is, you know, that's a Brad suggestion. I had a static board in the original design, which was cool in that you could see like the whole university. It was like a map of the university.
yeah, the way the tiles fit together was pretty cool in the original one.
But I mean, this is just far superior for gameplay. Like having a modular board is just the way to go, because every game feels so different.
Yeah.
Pretty great.
All right.
Well, anyway, I am gonna go get that pledge manager set up, and that should be ready in about an hour, I think, if not sooner. And then we will, you know, so that's me. That's what I'll be doing. And then, yeah.
Yeah.
So I gotta go, but you guys can stay here.
Sure. I'll do one final plug. The guy said Lords of Waterdeep is a great intro worker placement. There's a better one coming out, and it's not by Level 99, but it's by me, so I'm going to plug it anyway. And that is Harvest.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Brad.
I'll find the link.
It's Harvest by TMG, and it's coming out at Essen, so it should be available in the States in just a couple of months. And it is a very short worker placement game. I'm talking 5 minutes per player when you're playing with advanced player, but it's really more like 10 minutes per player. But you know, it's a super fast worker placement game, but it packs a lot of punch. It doesn't have the replayability of Argent, because Argent has a lot more to it, obviously, but it has decent replayability, or it has decent replayability overall, and great replayability for a short game. For like a game that's an hour or less, it probably has the most replayability of its weight. So yeah, definitely check it out. And if you like worker placement, I think you'll like it.
All right.
Awesome. Well, I'm gonna call things here, and I hope you guys have a great afternoon. Try not to, you know, keep your head above water. Keep your head above water, Trey, and don't get caught in any unfortunate airsoft matches, Marco.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for watching our Argent Countdown live stream, and thank you for all our backers. We're very grateful. We're so happy that we were able to bring this game to all of you for a second time. Argent Part 2 Electric Boogaloo. So we do hope that all of you will stay with us, and we'll, you know, talk to you guys in the comment sections, and we will keep you updated as much as possible. Isn't that right, Brad?
Absolutely. And as soon as we have progress on those ring bases and on the production of the game, I will be posting updates, so I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Also, next week, Noko is going to be doing some drawing with us.
Woo!
So we'll probably be doing some more drawing live streams. So come join us for those. Chat, hang out, meet a lead artist. Noko's really cool. He plays cool music and stuff. So
Yeah.
I would encourage you, if you have more questions about Argent, don't post them to the project, just because now that it's done with, I don't check them nearly as much. If you have a question for me about the game, like designer questions, post it.
yeah, post on BGG. Like that's where the
the
community lives, is on BGG.
Right.
So
I'm subscribed to the BGG forum, so, and I check it every single day, so I will answer it.
Or if you guys want to get into the official Level 99 Games
Marco
chat.
turned into a walrus.
Yeah. Well, yeah, just go to the official Discord, guys. I'll post the link for it here so that you can, you know, if you guys want a more community and, you know, just immediate feedback on any of the things you want to ask. If it's BattleCon, if it's Argent, if it's Pixel Tactics, whatever, it'll be there too. So, yeah. Brad's also there. I'm also there. I don't know if Trey's there. Are you there, Trey?
Yeah.
I have Discord, but I don't really use it. So, yeah, the best way to get in touch with me is on BGG.
Yeah, if you have rules questions, BGG. If you want to hang out with cool Level 99 peeps, go to Discord.
Yeah.
That's,
Or set up online games of Argent
Brad just
on Tabletopia.
said I wasn't cool. In so many words, Brad just said I wasn't cool.
I didn't say you weren't cool. I just you weren't in the place where cool people are.
Which means he's not. Which
I
means
mean-
he's not cool.
I mean, I guess if it's like this Venn diagram, then you know, like you got to be on one side or the other. But maybe you can be cool outside the cool zone. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't
because it's a
know.
Venn
That's something
diagram.
you have
There's
to
an
decide for yourselves.
intersection. Cool people not
Yeah.
in the Discord, and that Trey's in the middle.
Yeah, I really think having the second edition out will probably push Argent into the top 300. I'm expecting there'll be a rating spike once it gets out to more people because that's what it needs. I mean, its average rating is actually very good. It just needs more voters.
Yeah,
So.
that's how it always is with with smaller publishers. We are still a small publisher, much I hate to admit it. But yeah, mostly we just need a lot of people to rate our games. So if you haven't rated our games on BGG yet, you know what you're doing. Go do it.
Yeah. You know what you're doing, and by that we mean give us a 5. If you vote 5 for our game, we'll give you 5 in-game currency that you can use to buy gachapons. I don't know. Is that a thing we can do?
He means 10. Don't give us a 5. 5 would bring our ratings down.
Fine. Give us a
Give us a
10.
10.
Give us a 10, and then we'll give you in-game currency that you can use to buy gachapons and possibly get 5-star board games. I don't know, okay? Look, I'm trying to entice people here.
But you're literally just making things
Don't
up.
worry too much. Don't worry too much about it, Mark.
I'll give you $1 billion Trey bucks if you rate us a 10.
How about 1 million millennium bucks?
That's a lot of paper, actually.
No one wants to sticker that much. Yes, I love Ryan has a great points. We can sell more games if it's rated high on BGG and more people buy games, then we can sell more games and make more expansions for
Yeah,
Argent.
if we sell more games, that just means that you're going to get, whatever big box expansion 2 is sooner. So
Yeah.
Exactly.
So buy it. Buy. Buy.
This is not an infomercial. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I think Brad needs to go get his pledge manager up so that more people
Yeah,
can buy,
I'm actually
buy,
working
buy.
on it already.
Okay, so you're...
Already
And
working on it already. So.
I need to prep for Game of Thrones.
Game
This
of
is a
Thrones can
materialism.
wait,
Board game-
Trey! Game of Thrones can be
No, it
streamed! This
Um,
meeting of the minds happens
so actually,
once in
it
a
looks like
millennium.
it is live, so you can join the pledge manager now if you missed it.
There you go.
But so if you pledged on this project, do not use the pledge manager yet because we got to wait for Kickstarter to process everything, and then we can import your pledges, and then you'll get credit. But if you go in there now, your credit won't be there. So don't do that yet if you backed here. If you didn't back here on Kickstarter, you're welcome to go over to the pledge manager and be the first to get your own copy of Argent. So there you have it.
I need to
and I'll
get
go ahead
my
and
own
post this
copy.
link here on the project.
I'm sure it says that when they click on it, right? Like if you've already pledged, don't pledge again.
I don't know if it says that.
Yeah, you may want to make that clear because that seems like it's going to confuse a lot of folks.
Yeah.
double check. Hey Trey, did I ever tell you this?
Well,
story?
I mean,
Oh.
yeah. If anybody gets messed up, we can just issue a refund. But it's easier on everyone if you just don't.
Post it in the update, Brad. Don't forget to post it in the update. Update 10.
Right.
Don't do the thing. Don't do it. Oh my gosh.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So Trey, have I ever told you the story where I went to my friendly local game store, and I was planning to shill out some level 99 game stuff to them and go like, hey, you should get BattleCon and Pixel Tactics or whatever. They're like, oh, we know that, and the only level 99 games game they had was Argent. It was the sole game they had, and I was like, what is this game? And that was the first time I ever saw Argent, actually. So that's weird.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's Brad that told me that it did pretty well, like at comic book stores. Like they, the ones that ordered it actually sold it pretty quickly, and I think probably from the art. I think the art is so awesome in that game that people see it on the shelf. They're like, "Whoa, this game looks cool."
Yeah,
so I think it's a good.
A lot of people
good,
have been really attracted to the artwork in the game.
Yeah.
And come for the artwork, stay for the gameplay,
Come for the
and
art.
hopefully the world.
Yeah, and get to know our personality and what are our likes and dislikes, and maybe we jive and we can keep it steady.
Yeah. And those of you who don't have it yet, I highly recommend getting a copy of the art book if you haven't yet. It's beautiful. It sits on my coffee table all the time, and it's just I still flip through it. I've looked at it 100 times, but it's pretty awesome.
I could stare at Noko's art all day.
All right. Well,
yeah.
I am gonna end stream now and get last few minute pledge manager things worked out. So, thank you guys for participating. Thank you guys for joining Argent, the reprint campaign. And thanks especially to all you guys who are new to Argent. Thanks to all you guys that came back after 3 years for Argent. So anyway, we're really honored, all of us here, that you made this possible, that we can bring this game back for a new generation. Not really generation. What's a 3-year time period? I guess.
New generation.
Okay. If generations, they just get faster and faster these days.
My grandkids
But anyway,
are 2 years old.
yeah. But I want to say thanks. Thanks from all of us, Level 99, to you.
All right.
And
Can I do an
look forward
outro?
to Argent.
Can I do an outro?
Go ahead.
All right. And as
Go ahead,
usual,
go
it
ahead.
has been me, your host, Marco DeSantos, also known as Mechanic Critic, and with me is my ever wonderful I Don't Care Bear co-host, Brad Talton Jr. And with us is special, awesome guest host designer, Trey Chambers.
Thanks, Marco.
All right, and we will see all of you later in the Kickstarter and our other community websites. I will now go and get mad at my dogs. Bye-bye.
See you.
Look for Imperial very soon.
Awesome.